I've spent all of today talking to people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Again, I do odd things like this. Why would I be talking to these people and I think what they're doing is deplorable? When I was in high school, my AP English teacher, Miss Walker, shout out to Miss Walker. And I'm so sorry, Miss Walker. I got into a fist fight in her class one time. I appreciate what you did for me though. I remember this to this day. This was the greatest thing she ever did. She made us pick a topic, a social topic. Abortion, the war in Afghanistan, like a very hot social topic. So she said, okay, who wants to do the essay on abortion? Who wants to do an essay on this? So we all picked one. She goes, okay, well, so what side are you gonna argue? So we wrote it down and we thinking we're gonna do the essay on being pro-choice or being anti-war. But then she said, great, you picked your side. Your assignment is to argue the opposite side. Yeah, you picked abortion as your essay topic and you're gonna argue pro-choice. Right, your assignment is to argue pro-life in a persuasive essay. The point of her doing that, she explained it to us after we turned in our papers. Her point was, if you cannot argue competently the opposite side of a given argument, then you do not fully understand that topic. We are all less safe after Charlie Kirk's assassination, and I juggled whether or not I wanted to do this video, right? Because this is a hip hop channel. I do talk politics, but I struggled and really thought about, do I want to do this video? But I just felt it on my heart that I had to do this, right? Some people may celebrate now because someone got assassinated who you already didn't like. You don't like this person, they got assassinated. But you will not be celebrating if it's someone you do like. If someone you do like is doing a live event and they get assassinated over viewpoints that someone else finds extreme, that's not like the climate we want to stay in, right?
Oh my God. Disavow quickly and vehemently for your own safety? Yeah, I don't think you guys understand. I was supposed to debate him in a public setting like a month from now for my own personal safety as well. I'm also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm also a public figure who does political commentary.
I think in America, we're privileged. We don't even think about these types of things, but there are places in the world where you don't talk about politics, where you start talking about political figures and you're kind of hushed down. It's completely taboo, and that's not some place we want to live, right? So anyway, Charlie Kirk, y'all know that I spend my time on the farthest corners of the internet. I watch a lot of different stuff. You know, I don't really watch things for confirmation bias. I think this is part of the reason why I don't watch a lot of hip hop YouTubers, because I already know about hip hop. There's like very few things someone can tell me about hip hop that I don't already know. And when I do watch hip hop content, it's interviews where I'm learning new things, or it's documentaries where I'm learning new things, right? Constantly trying to learn new things, right? So I'd be on the far sides of the internet. I'd be watching debates, just trying to learn and understand. So this is initially how I came across Charlie Kirk. And I think the issue with Charlie Kirk is a lot of his stances are built on the foundation of white Americans feeling like they're being replaced, right? Feeling like they're losing their spot in society, which creates this type of white nationalism. And we've all seen what's happened with white nationalism historically in America. It's not something that's just been kept in a silo and white people are just empowering each other. Like a lot of the times it's crept out and other groups have gotten harmed. So this is like the issue with this content is it's informed by that foundation, whether he means to or not. So Charlie Kirk, he does have some bad takes.
I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified.
When he's speaking about DEI, and this is a clip that you guys see floating around a lot on the internet where he's talking about black pilots. Now, when we see a black pilot, we think, man, this person must be exceptional, because we know how much harder it is, how much more scrutiny we are constantly under. So if we see a black person who's a pilot, or at least me, I think, man, this dude must be top of the top 1%, because I know it wasn't easy for him to get here. He tries to make the point that DEI and affirmative action are bad because it unfairly makes people question if minorities or people of color are in important positions like pilots or surgeons. It unfairly makes people question if they got there due to merit or due to affirmative action. And he tries to make this point, and he fails to make this point by saying that's why affirmative action is bad, because it harms minorities too. When in reality, it's a well-known fact that white women are the main beneficiaries of affirmative action in America. So why are you using Black people as the example? The main beneficiary are white women. Everyone knows this. This has been a fact for decades. So, and that's what I'm saying. There's like this undercurrent of white nationalism that I think he knows exists in his audience. So he kind of does that to rally the people up. So that's one huge thing I disagree with him on.
I can't see a single instance of Israel going out of its way to kill civilians. I see Israel going out of its way.
So you don't believe what they've done is genocide?
No, of course not.
Obviously, anytime you talk about Israel, Palestine, that's a hot topic. I don't know enough about that situation, but whenever you have as many kids that have passed away in Palestine, you're going to have people looking at you like, yo, what's this all? You support this? I mean, and another one of Charlie Kirk's terrible takes is he's having this debate with someone.
The number one predictor for a kid of any skin color, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, is whether or not dad is around. I look as an outsider, albeit, at current Black culture, from the athletes to the rap music to the music. I don't see the nuclear family elevated, nor is it an internal Black cultural expectation. Now, I will ask some of the white individuals here in this audience, okay? If you guys got pregnant and all of a sudden you didn't even know who the father was who was around, how would your parents react? Not great, right? Unfortunately, in Black America, this is kind of accepted. Would you agree? The problem is that it's a cultural norm that has then turned into the cycle of poverty. The cycle of poverty can break very quickly if fathers stayed with the women they impregnate.
And he says, in middle white America, it's not normalized. Like baby mama culture is not normalized like it is in Black culture, which is a straight up lie. You ain't seen the trailer parks. Yo, lower income, middle income, white Americans, they have a lot of the same issues that we do, right? So it's just flat out wrong. So those are some of the worst takes I've ever seen by him. But I say this to say, I think a lot of people group him just based off what they see in TikTok and the clips with the Nick Fuentes, with the Milo. These two are not the same, right? And I think it's dangerous because now that someone assassinated him, it's going to spring out so many, like Charlie Kirk's message is more so about Christianity.
I want all people to come to Christ.
You want all people to come to Christ?
Yes.
Even my Jewish family members. You want us to come to Christ?
Yes, I hope you accept
want my
Yeshua
Jewish
as the
family
Lord and
members
Savior, because
to
Christ
come
is
to
King.
Christ.
And if you give your life to Christ, you'll be transformed from within.
This is what I get from just watching his long form content. It's about Christianity. And my fear is, now that he's been assassinated, it makes us all less safe. Who wants to do a live event? If you're in a political space, who wants to do a live event after something like this happens?
That was devastating. Holy America is so absolutely I cover Israel's genocide every day. I see charred children. I see children carrying their dead parents in trash bags. It still is a little different, at least from my perspective, I think, because this is a person who does what I do, but on the opposing side. I was supposed to debate him at Dartmouth University 15 days from now in a public event, in a public setting. I go out to public settings like this all the time. So there's a level of closeness in that regard because of the nature of what I do.
Obviously, there's going to be people seeking retaliation. One of my bigger fears is, now that Charlie Kirk's been assassinated, you're going to have so many more different, less focused, different people popping up, taking his place. It's like a power vacuum. You take out the president, now there's a power struggle to see who's next. And these people are going to be less focused. The message ain't going to just be focused, centered around Christianity with some bad takes sprinkled in there. It's going to be a much more aggressive and less focused, far less responsible message. And there's going to be more of it. Not compared to like when Kevin Samuels passed. Again, I'll be on the strange sides of YouTube trying to understand the opposing side. So yes, it's like when Kevin Samuels passed, like his whole thing was from the videos I watched. And some of y'all are more familiar with his content than me. But he just seemed to want regular Black people to be with each other and get married. So he would roast women who thought they deserved a millionaire.
I'm supposed to settle for regular type dude.
You're 5'3", 100, and a dress size 10, so that's above average weight, and you have 2 children. Why should an average woman say she's settling for an average man? You said, so I should just settle for an average guy. And I'm like, you're an average woman.
And he would roast men who were broke and thought they deserved a 10 out of 10 woman.
You got a big dick?
Huh?
You have a big dick?
I mean, it's above average. I ain't know Ron Jeremy.
No. I asked you if you had a big dick. I didn't say it was above average.
I don't know what that is, really.
Nigga, you know if you got a big dick or not. Stop the bullshit. You don't have a big dick. You don't have a big wallet. You're a fat dude, 5'10" and 300 pounds, making less than $1,000 a month at 20 years old. And women should approach you. What they get? They don't even get a big dick.
And he would roast him to the point, and then the ending message in his videos would be, get someone on your level, have kids, get married, stay out the streets. That seems, I mean, that was like his general message. Now, he had some horrible takes amongst there. But that was his general message. Then when he passed, look who took his place. Andrew Tate, the Fresh and Fit guys, Myron Gaines and all this. And their message is not simply about the black family, uniting the black family. That's not like the end goal of their message. It's not a structured message. Keep with the parallel I'm making with Charlie Kirk. It's not a structured message. Andrew Tate's, his message is, well, I guess he had like some, porn site that he was running with women. He had all these women in the house.
I have a bunch of women. So I like women.
He's like, yo, get rich and get a Bugatti.
Bugatti.
And like his message was something totally different.
But females are barely sentient.
The Fresh and Fit dude message, they think is, yo, no man should live with your woman. You should live with your homeboys, not your women.
You should never, ever live with your girl in the same crib.
When you live with your girl, what's going to end up happening is you're going to start to inevitably become lazy, softer. Don't live with your girl, guys. It's one of the stupidest things you can do.
Because you going to be more focused living with your homeboys. Like the message is, it's a worse message than simply uniting the black family with some bad takes. Now it's just all bad takes. And I think that's what's going to happen with Charlie Kirk. But, I do understand the people out there. No one's really watching long form content, especially on some stuff they disagree with, like me. Like, I'm odd in that way. I don't go on YouTube looking for confirmation bias. I'm pretty confident in my own belief system and how I feel about things. So I don't go on YouTube typically looking for confirmation bias. I'm looking for the opposite side because I feel like knowing the opposite side is going to strengthen my own opinion. When I was in high school, my AP English teacher, I remember this to this day. This was the greatest thing she ever did. She made us pick a topic, a social topic, abortion, the war in Afghanistan, like a very hot social topic. Like she wrote like 3 or 4 on the board, and we could choose any of those 3 or 4. We choose one of them. So she said, okay, who wants to do the essay on abortion? Who wants to do an essay on this? So we all picked one. Okay, well, so what side are you going to argue? So we wrote it down, and we thinking we're going to do the essay on being pro-choice or being anti-war. But then she said, great, you picked your side. Your assignment is to argue the opposite side. Yeah, you picked abortion as your essay topic, and you're going to argue pro-choice. Right, your assignment is to argue pro-life in a persuasive essay. And the assignment was so genius in that she made us pick the side that we were going to argue first. So it's not like she's just making us argue conservative points or liberal points. It made it to where the liberal students had to argue conservative points and the conservative students had to argue liberal points. And she was so smart in making it our final and not just some random essay that we could BS on, or we could just not even try that hard on in spite of her making us argue something we don't believe in. She was smart to make it our final because this is worth a lot of points. And that was a transformative assignment for me, like top 3 assignments I ever got in school. And you had to argue the opposite side. The point of her doing that, she explained it to us after we turned in our papers. Her point was, if you cannot argue competently the opposite side of a given argument, then you do not fully understand that topic. And that was a bar. That's always stuck with me. So again, I don't go on YouTube looking for confirmation bias. Really, I'll be watching people living out their van, police body cam footage, Planet Earth, cat videos and stuff like that.
She prefers gerbils.
Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. But I'll also be watching debates. Sometimes I feel a certain way about a topic and I'll look up the opposite side. Because me knowing the opposite side, I'm going to understand them and I'm going to strengthen my own stance on that topic by hearing the opposite side. Because if someone ever tries to debate me, nothing they're saying is going to be novel. I've already heard this and thought about it, and I can counter it. So, but I understand everyone is not doing that. Like, that's a very odd way to live. I fully acknowledge that. But that's what I do, right? I don't expect everyone else to do that, to go out and watch these 30, 40-minute videos of Charlie Kirk debating or giving his point about certain topics, especially if you don't agree with it. To get someone to watch a 30, 40-minute, hour-long video is already tough enough. But to get them to watch it on a topic that they don't agree with, about someone they don't like, yeah, people aren't going to do that. I get it. So most people's interaction with Charlie Kirk is through TikTok videos or clips, which is fine, but I think it's dangerous because I've spent all of today talking to people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Again, I do odd things like this. Why would I be talking to these people and I think what they're doing is deplorable? I just want to understand their side. So I'll spend all day today talking to people on social media who are celebrating his death. And I'm like, okay, show me what you mean when you say Charlie Kirk said black people were better during slavery. Because I've just never heard him say that. And one of the main videos people kept sending was this.
Live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
This is a main video people kept sending. And again, I don't expect people to go and watch these 30-minute, hour-long videos of Charlie Kirk, but it seems like a lot of people are being informed by clips in TikTok videos. And I think it's meant to purposely outrage you. So someone had sent this to me and they had basically said, oh, how could you not be celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? He went on stage and called Asian people, I'm not going to say the slur on YouTube, but he went on stage and called Asian people, and I looked at the video, I was like,
live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. Every single day, Shank.
I'm not sure what they're talking about. But then I really sit and think about it, and I realized he didn't call nobody he's talking to Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks Network, Cenk Uygur. But the video is clipped in a way to make you believe he's calling people racial slurs. So people are also trying to purposefully outrage you. I'm just putting that out there. And I've seen a lot of that today. They were out to purposely outrage you because they went to this that's a long video. The original video is very long. They went to that specific part where he's talking to Cenk Uygur, probably the most famous Democrat in America.
Capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist.
Charlie,
come on, Shank, let's go.
What are you doing? Take a seat. Take a seat. Psycho?
They went to that and they clipped it out purposefully to make it look like he's saying something he's not.
Capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist.
Charlie Kirk has plenty of bad takes. You don't have to make them up. Like there's plenty of content to hate. But I've seen a lot of people posting this clip, and I don't even blame them. I don't think what they're doing is malicious. But I just think they're being purposefully misled. Like some of the stuff that I saw that people believed about dude, I would hate him too. Like, yo, if somebody said, I would hate this guy too if he actually said this. But as someone who spends time watching these types of things on YouTube, he didn't say a lot of these things. I mean, he said plenty of questionable things that you can debate. A lot of the ones that I saw was not some of them. So yeah, man, we're all less safe after this. We're one step closer to a massive civil conflict. I mean, Charlie Kirk, he's probably the most popular conservative voice in America, other than Donald Trump. And there's plenty of things to critique him on, but it's no reason to kill the dude. I don't think people will fully understand that until someone they like gets killed. When you look around the hip hop sphere, the media sphere, there's a reason why some of the biggest names out there are not celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination.
I wasn't a follower of this guy. I know he was about Christian values and all of that, and I'm not a Christian. But a lot of values that traditional Christians have, I respect. This guy wasn't known to be out in the streets, shooting other people with guns. And now he's getting the retaliation for what he was doing. This is somebody, for all intents and purposes, was a law-abiding citizen. And then this happened just because people didn't agree with what he said. And that, to me, is super disturbing.
They're all kind of looking at it like this is too much, right?
He will not rejoice in the loss of life, okay, for anyone who hasn't directly caused harm to black people.
And even if you're just a Democrat, you're on the progressive left, even someone like Cenk Uygur.
It is beyond tragic. It's disgusting. It's terrible. And you could say, hey, he said bad things in the past. Who cares? That's not the point today. That's the exact opposite of being a progressive. It makes no sense at all. We're against violence. If you do violence, you're not one of us. You're disgusting, you're immoral, and you're deeply counterproductive. Guys, this is going to lead to worse and worse violence. I hope to God it doesn't.
Who runs probably the biggest Democratic platform of the past decade or two. No one is really celebrating this. You know, the only people who are really celebrating are just like people on social media or whatever, like individuals. And the reason no one is celebrating is because this makes us all less safe. There's someone out there who feels the things you say are extreme or the things you do are extreme. It doesn't mean you should get killed. And lastly, probably the best response someone has said to me on this topic is, yeah, Charlie Kirk has his freedom of speech, but freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequence. Which I agree. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequence. You can say whatever you want, but just know the consequence. There can be consequences. But if you're talking about just someone saying their opinion on topics and going to colleges and having debates, and you're like, yo, if you say something in that debate, you know, you might get murdered, and it just is what it is, man. That's on you. You knew it came with a cost. The latter outweighs the former, because if citizens are levying their own consequences on free speech, that impedes free speech. Inherently impedes free speech. I'll simplify it. If I say blue is a terrible color, and someone says, yo, there's a consequence to saying that, because you know there's people out there who love the color blue, and that consequence is murder or whatever, there's a negative consequence, and we accept that as a society. We accept it, we celebrate it, we accept it. Eventually, people are going to stop saying negative things about blue because the last guy got consequences. So inherently, you're shrinking your own free speech. Yeah, there's a reason why the people who are actually, have a big voice, big platforms, I haven't seen any of them celebrate this.
What has just transpired is tremendously disturbing political violence in the United States, and it must end.
And mind you, these are people who have done more in the Black community than you have, than I have, than all of us combined. These are people like Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks who have done more for the Democrat progressive movement than all of us combined. Like, he's actually getting people seats in House, Justice Democrats. He's putting big money behind this stuff, sending out investigative journalists. He's done more politically than you or I will ever do, period. And was in arch opposition to Charlie Kirk's viewpoints.
Charlie, come on, Jake, let's go.
There's a reason why he's not even celebrating this. It makes us all less safe. And again, this wasn't some murderous guy, dictator who got assassinated. This was a dude who we felt had some bad takes, debating people on a college campus. Gets murdered. So, food for thought. I don't expect to change no one's opinion out there. I just felt it on my heart to say this. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.